All right, welcome everybody to today's webinar. I am pleased to introduce Walton and Josh today. Walton, kick it off for us.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks everyone for joining us today on this lovely afternoon. I hope it's as sunny where you are as it is where we are. Couple of housekeeping items here at the top. Please complete the poll. It's on the screen. It's just really helpful for us, and it's really a great way for all of the folks, all the partners who are involved in this project to be responsive to your needs and to be able to communicate the information that you want to know. So I'm Walton Robinson. I am the Executive Director of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Apprenticeship Innovation Hub, which is a mouthful. What that means, what my job description is basically I get up every day thinking about, talking about, working with employers, working with apprentices to build a stronger apprenticeship ecosystem in our community. So 50,000 foot view of my job. I love it. It's a great gig. So we're really happy to be able to bring Josh into this conversation today. I think one of the things that I really believe is that this model works really well for small businesses, right? And by small, I mean less than 50 employees. That's not small in the day-to-day scheme of things, but it's small in the global view. But we're going to get into some discussion of how small businesses can benefit, what the potential uses are, how you can leverage this yourself for your company. But here's the agenda for today. We're just going to sort of have a free-flowing conversation here and use the Q&A function. If you've got a question you want to flag for us, we'll jump into those. Drew, feel free to flag questions for us. But we're just going to kind of bump through these topics as we go, have a loose conversation, hope to get some participation from y'all. So I already introduced myself. Josh, tell us who you are, a little bit of background, your journey into becoming an entrepreneur, and tell us a little bit about your company, what you do, and how you do it.
Yeah, thanks, Walton. I'll share a little bit about background of my role before I founded 8bin Marketing, because I think it's a little bit of an interesting story. But I spent a number of years leading marketing for an IT services company that's based here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, called Infosystems, and a really high-level IBM business partner gets in with small and mid-sized companies and helps them work through all of the technology decisions and implementations that they have to make. But several years ago, it became very apparent that cybersecurity was one of the main things that small businesses needed help with. Large organizations had money to burn on preventative measures and cybersecurity. Small businesses needed a lot of help. So Infosystems made the decision to launch a cybersecurity division of the company. And to launch that new division of our company, I actually went to Nashville, Tennessee, and participated in a workshop called Story Brand that was from this best-selling author, Donald Miller, who wrote a book called Building a Story Brand. And I came back from that conference and put those principles into practice. We launched this cybersecurity division of our company, and the launch was so successful that the owner of that company and I decided to launch a marketing agency together so that we could do that same thing for other businesses. So 8bin Marketing is 5 years in now, so we'll be celebrating our 5-year anniversary here in a couple months. And what we're doing today is really helping small businesses make better, stronger, human-powered connections with their buying audience. Because for a long time in the marketplace in the United States, brands were just pumping out really bad for you products into the marketplace, bad for your health, bad for the environment. And they were just hyping up these products and selling them in the marketplace with, honestly, deceitful tactics. And what that has led to in the marketplace is younger buyers today, especially, are looking for a deeper connection with the brands that they spend money with. And so we're helping brands who want to establish that more transparent, authentic connection with their buying audience do it better, because buyers today, they want authenticity. They want you to engage with them on the platforms that they use all the time. They want content that is very humanized, so lots of video, audio content. They want to see people representing the brand who align with their identity and values. And they want information, useful information to evaluate products and make a purchase decision that they're going to be happy with. So we've kind of got a proprietary process that we go through to help brands do that. And I think I'll be able to talk about that when we dig into entrepreneur or apprenticeship a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of the entrepreneurial journey I'm on.
That's great. I love that. Anytime you can make something more human powered and human centered, odds are your outcome is going to be significantly better, just about no matter what it is. So let's zoom out a little bit and talk about the modern apprenticeship model, right? A lot of folks that you hear the word apprenticeship, there's a very particular thing that comes to mind for me before I got into doing this work. You know, it was basically a guy with a tool belt, right? That's the picture, the mental picture that I had internalized about apprenticeship. So let's talk a little bit about what the modern apprenticeship model is, the professional model, and how small businesses use it. So we'll sort of transition to that part of the discussion. How do you, Josh, how did you think of apprenticeship before you started on this journey, working to create a program for yourself and for your company? You know, what was your initial impression when I called you up and said the word apprenticeship? Right, what came to mind?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was excitement because, I've had a positive perception of apprenticeship for a long time. And actually, starting even 10 years ago, I couldn't understand why apprenticeship was limited to just trade skills. And, I remember having conversations with, friends and business peers and thinking like, why is there not an apprenticeship model for professional services and the, other types of businesses? And when I heard about this from you, I mean, honestly, I was kind of shocked that it's being followed through on now, but very excited to see this take off.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm glad that we're taking the journey with you. From a small business perspective, there are so many things in your day to day that you're just trying to get through, right? You're trying to hold it together, grow your business, keep everyone on track. Let's talk a little bit about what it is. What does an apprenticeship look like, right? What are the things that the attributes that make it a compelling option for a small business? And you can see it on the slide here. We've got some outline things. Josh, I wonder if you would sort of bounce through these and tell us, for you, does this line up? Do these line up with your experience so far and your plans for your apprenticeship program?
I mean, these three areas I could not resonate with any more than I do. This tells the whole story, in my opinion. And if you really think about these three kind of focus areas of what an apprenticeship is and how it helps, like there is so much value packed into these three talking points for, like we're sort of talking about for small business owners, especially, that like it would be mind-boggling to me that you would explain this to someone and they would not be interested instantly and be, let's do this now in my company. Like for me, what really stands out is, this is kind of related to my business, the marketing services. When you look at that middle item of gain skills and experience, it is, I mean, I don't want to paint a very negative picture of higher education these days,
Uh,
but when you're when you're looking at a professional marketing skills and the higher education focus on developing or graduating people from their institution, that they're calling a certified or professional or degreed marketer. These people have likely spent 4 years of higher education, several of which were probably dedicated to gen ed type of courses. So maybe 2 years of focused coursework on marketing skills, and a lot of those marketing classes are principles, marketing principles, theories, things like that. And what you end up with is a lot of theoretical understanding and very little hands-on application and practice. And I mean, I think for a skill set like digital marketing or graphic design or copywriting or web development, coding, any of these types of skills that I'm hiring for, the best way to demonstrate a skill set is showing work that you've actually accomplished. I would much rather hire somebody who has worked through real world projects than someone who can sit there and talk about marketing all day long because they understand the theories.
And I think there's a key piece of that that is helpful for small businesses, and that is if you have a paradigm shift and you look at how you evaluate talent, like potential over credential, being the sort of motto that we work off of, then what matters most? Is it the ability to talk or is it the ability to do? Because some folks, and I put myself in this category, I learn best by doing. Break it, take it apart, look at it, put it back together, hope nobody notices I broke it, right? And that's how I can internalize information and put it to good use. And I think in the apprenticeship contexts, you can really, really hone in on that. And, if you're an apprentice, you can learn something and use the skill within minutes. Whereas in a more traditional setting, you learn something and maybe you use it 4 years from now or 2 years from now, or maybe never at all. And so does it stick? I think internalizing skills and being able to flex those muscles is really what makes apprenticeship compelling. And it's what makes a job exciting, right? I know for you all at 8bin, you kind of view yourselves differently as a marketing company, and that's an outgrowth of built expertise and experience. Talk a little bit about how that credential piece is, you sort of look at it upside down the way a lot of companies do. So if you look at a typical marketing firm's website, what's different about your website? What do people notice?
Yeah, a lot of times if you look at the typical marketing firm, you're going to see if you've got a staff of 8 or 10 people at a small marketing, like a boutique firm like what we have, more than half of them are probably either in sales or administrative roles. And you've only got 2 or 3 people on the team who actually have skills and experience and can deliver quality work for the customer. Our model is exactly the opposite of that. We build, every single person on our team delivers customer facing work. So these are the people who have gone through the training programs, developed the expertise, worked on real world projects, earned certifications, and can now be put in charge, responsibly put in charge of delivering client facing work. I don't need 7 or 8 people selling stuff if we've only got 1 or 2 people actually delivering work. But the certification piece, I mean, here's the truth of the matter. Those middle 2 points of applying the skills that you're learning and being highly competent in the skills that you have, and then earning certifications that back up the fact that you've progressed through and you understand all of the best practices and the meat of how to do something. Those actually replace the need for sales reps for my team. Because when I'm talking to a potential client, I can show them my team and the experience that we have and the certifications that are represented on the people. And that does the selling for me. I don't need someone trying to convince them or change their mind that we're qualified. They can see that we're qualified very easily. So that certifications piece is super critical to an apprenticeship program. And here's the real challenge for a small business. If you don't have that apprenticeship program to be your accountability partner in earning those certifications, it's very likely that you're never going to do it. You will end up with employees on your team who you say, I promise you they can do this work, but there's no certification or anything to back up that claim.
Yeah.
So, I love that certification piece of the apprenticeship program.
And that's key. And in a lot of different industries, there's different requirements, and the apprenticeship model is really flexible. It can adapt around those things. I want to just touch on one more thing before we jump, and I think our slides will come back in just a moment. The economics of being a small business is one of the most challenging things imaginable, right? And the cost of talent in the market has become a war of resources. I know for us in our area, you have folks who have bounced between the same two companies a few times and getting a 20% pay increase each time. And that the talent, the war for talent is not designed for small businesses to be able to thrive, right? And so, the wage piece of apprenticeship it is really key, and it allows you to grow your own, right? The apprenticeship retention rate, the 5-year retention rate is, north of 95% across the board. And so I know there's been a lot of frustration from the small businesses I've talked to about, if I hire someone straight out of college, they likely don't have the skills, the overall skills to start work today. And they expect the top market salary, and that's just not possible for me as a small business owner, right? Like, I have to watch my dollars and cents very closely. And so if you can start with someone with maybe a little less credentialing on the front end, they can learn with you and grow with you. That competitive pay piece also becomes beneficial for the small business, because you're not immediately investing a full, highest of the high percent salary into an employee when you don't know whether they're going to work out or not. And so talk a little bit about, your experiences getting to talent in the marketplace, and, having the challenges with matching competitive pay, finding good people, and keeping them on board.
Yeah, I love that point of finding the right people who have, and I would add on to that, who have the right mindset. That's what I love about the apprenticeship program is, if you juxtapose your, again, I'm not trying to bash higher education collegiate system, but if you juxtapose, this is just my personal experience.
Yeah.
When I've put out job openings, open job postings, like let's say on LinkedIn, and fielded resumes and gone through the interview, screening and interview process, the consistent mindset I see of, someone who has gone the college graduate route is, I've completed my training and now it's time for me to get paid well. Versus what I think the mindset of your typical apprentice candidate would be, I'm willing to come in and prove myself and earn the opportunity to get paid well. And I think that's a huge, for me, that's sort of like a culture fit line in the sand of, I definitely want to be a company that's known as, we take care of our people. We've got a great culture. We pay well. You can grow with our organization. But if I'm hiring in people who already have the mindset of, I've arrived and it's time for me to get paid, and I expect you to do that, versus someone who has that mindset of, I love that you're giving me an opportunity to grow and prove myself and be a part of something where I can advance and earn my way. That I mean, that's just a huge mindset that I really think the entrepreneurship or the apprenticeship process really brings out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and at a marketing agency, there's no shortage of talent out there. If
Right.
I put a job post out on LinkedIn, I mean, I could leave it up for a few days and probably have 50 plus qualified candidates who, I'm going through, and they've got jobs and skills and college degrees and all of these things. But you mentioned something, Walton, about the kind of grow from within mentality. Like, I think there is so much value to having someone who kind of comes in and develops as part of your culture versus hiring in someone and trying to piece together a culture. So yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that's spot on. I'm interested to see if any folks who are on, who are small business owners have had a similar experience out in the talent marketplace, because I talk to small businesses every day. As a matter of fact, I talk to more small businesses than I do to large enterprise organizations. And so I feel like I have a pretty good view of the spectrum, at least here locally. And I hear those types of frustrations a lot. And as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want that larger buy-in, right? Just the same way you mentioned earlier, how a certain generation wants to interact with brands differently. They want to have more of a connection. Getting back to that from an employment standpoint, it is just crucial to building a business. Your people who stick with you, they can grow and benefit from the company growing, but you also don't have institutional knowledge and talent and experience walking out the door as often as you do if you're just exchanging talent for salary at a larger organization. And so it's just a really great opportunity to be able to grow your own, have folks that are bought into what you're doing, that are a great culture fit. And that's just a winning talent mix for a small enterprise. So let's jump to the next slide and talk some briefly about a few of the roles that we have available through the Apprenticeship Building America grant. I know in your case, Josh, you guys are starting your journey. You started your journey with a digital marketing specialist. I think there's a lot of potential for a lot of different types of businesses to be able to jump into this space. And so I flagged this. This is only a partial list, but I just want to flag this to sort of let folks know that depending on what your need is, there's more than likely an option that can adapt to what you need. A lot of the folks that I talk to say themselves, and they say to me, apprenticeship, I'm not that big. I can't have an apprenticeship program, or I'm too small to have an apprenticeship program. And the truth is, it's actually built for you if you're small, right? This is something that you can take advantage of and do really, really well with. So quick shot question here. Is there anything interesting on this list that jumps out at you that you maybe didn't think was something that could be apprenticed, or is there something that you didn't expect to see maybe when we had an initial conversation about apprenticeship?
I mean, for me, there's a lot on here that I wouldn't typically expect to see. I mean, I think it's just because apprenticeship historically has been so closely aligned to trade skills, mechanical skills, things like that. But seeing things like project manager and product manager, and I mean, cybersecurity specialists, the software and web developers, I mean, you've got business development representative on here. Like the thought that if I'm interested in a career in sales or on a revenue team, and I could begin an apprenticeship program to help show me the way. I mean, here's what really surprises me about a lot of this, Walton. Like when I was early in my career, like as I progressed through my career, I looked back to my early career years and just realized how much I did not know.
Oh yeah.
I did I didn't know any I didn't know what roles were available out there or how you even point yourself in the right direction to pursue one of those roles or to develop the skills that are required for one of those roles. Like when you're a young professional, there's just so much you don't even know.
Yeah.
And in this model, you can be shown so many opportunities and then put into a position where you've got mentorship and a support system around you to help you progress and develop. I mean, to me, this is amazing.
Yeah. And you, I find myself saying a lot, and it's true that I wish I'd had some of these options when I was coming up, right?
Yeah.
I might not even be here. I might be retired somewhere if I had at a young age started working as an apprentice in one of these roles. And so the awareness, both of the business and the apprentice community, and we've even got Youth Apprenticeship Week that's coming up. And there's National Apprenticeship Week. So there's opportunities to engage with the community. We've got to win over parents, right? We've got to do a whole bunch of things to help spread the word about the apprenticeship model. So before we jump into to our next set of questions, Drew, if there's any questions, let's flag those. And here's a selection of some of the events that are going on across the country for Youth Apprenticeship Week. I'm really excited for this. We've got some really interesting local businesses that are getting engaged, and I don't think they would have been your typical businesses that would start with an apprentice. And 9 out of 10 are small businesses, right? Because they're nimble, they can pivot, they can see a good idea and move the center of gravity in their company towards it to embrace it. And that's an advantage. So when you pair that with talent, you can really get far as a small business owner. So I don't see any questions so far. Y'all please jump in on the Q&A function if you have any. We're happy to field those. But let's sort of talk for a second about why. I mean, we talked a lot about what it does, why we like it. In the typical talent situation where you put something on LinkedIn and get 50 resumes, what's the alternative that you would like to see to that? I hear a lot of small business owners say they want to increase retention, or they spend a lot of money on executive recruiting that they wish they could put into product or into salaries for their people. And so, what drew you, in addition to all of the stuff that you knew, what made this an easy pivot for you, for your company? What did you see as that benefit right there, from the outset?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's time to value from a new hire. So there's a couple of things that I would say go into this. I'll talk about a couple of different talking points. But if you think time to value for a new hire, so if I put out a job posting for digital marketing specialist or something like that, and I hire somebody in who has, maybe they're Google Ads certified or Google Analytics certified or HubSpot certified or something like that, and I feel pretty confident that they have the skills necessary to get work done in a quality manner. I'm still going to have to hire that person in, and because we have a very proprietary system for what we do in our company, there's still going to be a time to value for that person to become a kind of fully deployed, fully billable resource for us. And in a services-based business, marketing like what we do, cash flow is always an issue because we have to have the employees on the team before a contract gets signed to do work. So the payroll is fully burdened before we ever sign a contract to put that person to work and begin generating income for the business.
Yeah.
And so you've got that, you've got the time to value for how long it's going to take for them to be able to do the type of work that we do through our own proprietary process, and the payroll investment that's fully burdened on the business all the way up until that person kind of gets fully deployed into the business. And if you're paying them a fully certified specialist salary, then that's a big burden on the business. And that's, for me, it's sort of a no-brainer if you can get an apprentice in the door who is working at a wage rate that is reflective of, kind of where they are in their growth and development process. You're going to have to spend, for us, maybe it's 3 to 6 months worth of time getting them up to speed on our internal processes anyway. So in that 3 to 6 months, they can continue building out their skill set, learn our internal proprietary systems, and then be ready to go. And during that time, we didn't have a fully burdened senior level specialist salary on our payroll. So, I mean, really, it's a no-brainer for what we're doing. But yeah, does that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example. I just know that so many small business owners have to get creative when it comes to that equation. How do you balance payroll? How do you make payroll? How do you grow the business? What is a good investment? And the piece you mentioned about building their skills and working, the beauty of apprenticeship is they're not just building an arbitrary set of skills, right?
Yeah.
We're creating a baseline of skills that are centered on what you need for them to be able to be effective. And the truth is, every business has a ramp up time. There's just very few where you drop someone into the deep end and put them in front of a client or on some really mission critical work right away. And so the question is that time that they're working up to productivity, that they're being a productive member of the team, at the end of that ramp up, whatever it is, are they right where you want them to be? And has that process been as short as you can make it? Or are you just going through the motions with somebody to sort of check some boxes? And I think small businesses are in the best position to be able to dictate that and innovate around that process. Because I talked to a business owner the other day, a small entrepreneur. He's got a training firm, and he said, we've never done an apprenticeship before. And I said, hang on, tell me about what happens when you hire someone. What do you do? He said, well, they go through this onboarding, and they start with our handbook, and then they go through the specs that we use and our methodology for teaching. And I said, okay, you do all that stuff. Do you have them work with someone who's already experienced? Oh yeah, they have a mentor the whole way through. You're already doing an apprenticeship. You're already doing the elements of an apprenticeship. You're just not getting any of the benefits of registering your apprenticeship. And so I think that's a great point, Josh, about that ramp up time and what it means to move someone from just hired to making money for the team, being a productive member of the team. How do you make that shorten that timeline and make the end as effective as possible? So that's a great point. That's a great highlight. I think we've got a couple of questions here. So we've got one about are there apprenticeship opportunities available in a certain area of the country? They're available all over the country. I'm partial to the 5 hubs, and DC is one of them. And that's where the question came from. So yes, there are definitely opportunities in your area. Got one more. How can we convince companies to invest in people? That's a big question that we could do a webinar on just on its own. Josh, from the perspective of a small business owner, what are the things that make you feel like this is someone I want to invest in? Right? This is a person that I want to invest in, because there's still an investment with an apprenticeship. It's more geared towards your business and the outcomes you need, but there's still an investment. So what do you want to see? What are the things that you want to see to know that you want to invest in your people?
Yeah, I mean, you hear the phrase thrown out there in books and podcasts and HR circles about, hire for culture and train the skills. And I think if so one element of being able to invest, see yourself as I need to invest in people more, is if you do have a strong company culture, which we do, and that's something that I've worked really hard to establish over the first 5 years of our business, even to the point where, I manage a remote distributed team. We're split between Chattanooga, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, and then we've got one in South Carolina. And so we work remotely on a day-to-day basis, but we get together in person quarterly in Chattanooga at our company headquarters and spend a day together in person. And then we also, usually get to do some kind of fun dinner event or something like that. But every time we meet together, at least one quarter of the meeting is me intentionally investing in company culture and ensuring that everybody on the team understands it,
Yep.
feels like they're a part of it, feels like they're empowered by it. And, I just think if you've got a team of people who fit, if you have a strong company culture and you've got a team of people who fit, then you're going to do everything you can to keep that team intact.
Yep.
And along with that comes the mindset of, as the leader of this business, I need to invest in them. I published it's funny, this is sort of a thought that I was having the other day anyway. I published a post on LinkedIn a little while back that said, business leaders should invest in their employees like the future of the company depends on them more than you. Like that's the mindset. We went through a period in my company last year where we designated one entire day a week, so 20% of our working business time, into professional development initiatives. And I created professional development plans for each of my employees. We met at the end of the day on Friday every day, which was our professional development day. We did project work Monday through Thursday. Friday is professional development. I met with each employee at the end of the day on Fridays to check in on how's progress going? What have you learned? How are you applying that to your work? And the response to that has been incredible. You talk about a team who feels like, hey, I work for somebody who cares and who is investing in me and who wants to help me get to the next level, whether that's with their business or a different one, doesn't matter to me. So, but I've found if you care for your people in that way, then you get rewarded with incredible loyalty.
Yeah, and people giving their best, viewing your business as their career, not just a job stop on the way to the next thing. And I think it's well established in studies and statistically the high retention rate of apprenticeships. And for small businesses, thinking about the extreme cost of losing someone, having to find someone else, onboard them, getting them up to speed. I mean, there's a ton of dollars sunk into that. And I don't think a lot of small business owners have time to pause and add that up, but it's huge. And so, limiting turnover, increasing retention over time, more than pays for an apprenticeship. And, it can even more than pay for the entire employee, for their salary top to bottom. And so investing in that company culture and, using an apprenticeship as a way to do it and invest in your people, I think it's a smart idea. I love the idea of having a full day a week on professional development. I think that's amazing. I wish more employers would do that. So,
And let me throw something your way, Walton, because I know this is part of the value that I immediately saw when we started having conversations about an apprenticeship program. And I think others really need to hear about this is, when you are out there hunting for a new hire, you talked about the cost of, the total cost of hiring a position isn't just the salary that you're going to pay the person that you find. It's all of the time and energy and effort, sometimes advertising costs to promote a position online and get enough applicants, and the whole process of interviewing, internal discussions, all of the screening that has to be done, background checks, and all of this stuff has a cost. And one of the things that really jumped out to me, while we were talking about the apprenticeship program, is the fact that you take off a lot of that burden through the program that
Yep.
you offer that I no longer have to worry about. I think you should share some about that.
Hey, I gladly, anytime. Part of the idea with this grant, right? One of the things that they asked themselves, at the Department of Labor is what is keeping businesses from using the apprenticeship model, right? And one of the things they heard a lot was that the HR burden, right? Even if there really wasn't that much, just the perception was enough to keep people from jumping in and taking advantage of it. And I found that to be true locally. And so baked into the grant, yes, is that piece of it that we take that off the table. We do as much as we can. There's tools through Build Within. There's support from the local hub communities so that you can focus on the relationship with the apprentice, right? The mentoring, the teaching to get to the outcomes you need for your business. And, when you think about lowering barriers to get people to buy into the apprenticeship concept, that was a no-brainer, right? We had to address that piece of it. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that because I do think that's something that keeps folks away. And, we're in a really unprecedented moment right now when it comes to skills-based hiring and apprenticeship. And there's a recognition, state, local, all across the board that we've got to encourage folks to go about thinking about this a different way and taking advantage of some of these programs. And so all of you who are on with us, there could be additional help above and beyond in the communities that you're in. And, that comes in the form of, tax incentives or wage offsets or a whole number of things that can help lower the barrier to participation in creating an apprenticeship program. So check out, your hubs. If you don't know where to start, we can help you do that. But that's a great point, Josh, and I'm glad you flagged it. Really, 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 really relevant, I feel like. Well, we're winding down here. I want to throw out one more question. I want to be, really transparent about what success looks like, for a small business. At the end of your first year, second year of having an apprenticeship program, with 8bin, how will you measure success? What are the things that you'll look at to say, okay, this is contributing to our overall bottom line. It's helping grow our company. It's strengthening our company culture. What are those things that you'll look at to hold me accountable for, right? Because I'm a partner with you in this.
Yeah, I mean, it will definitely be, at the end of it all, for me, it's going to be the quality of work that we're delivering to our customers. That's the ultimate test of success is as the business grows and we have to add people to the team, the ultimate indicator of whether apprenticeship works or not is going to be, does the quality of service that we provide to our customer continue to improve or is it declining as a result? And so if I were to project 2 or 3 years out, what I think will happen is that the rate of growth and the rate of quality of services that we deliver are going to be probably in parallel with one another. And I think apprenticeship is going to help ensure that happens. Because, again, in the digital marketing, or we don't only do digital marketing, but in the marketing world, things change quickly. Learning never stops. Platforms like technology is going to, over the next 2 to 3 years, technology is going to change. You've got AI, you've got new tools coming out, you've got AI being incorporated into existing tools, you've got the marketplace, the buyer, all of, everything changes. And I feel like building a workforce or building a team internally in a growth and develop that has a growth and development mindset from the beginning of their career with our company moving forward is going to allow us to be on the front edge of that. The other thing that I'm really excited about it, let's talk about age a little bit. Especially, I think this is probably true for tons of different industries, but especially in marketing, you've got senior level marketers who have been in the industry for a decade or more, who are really efficient and have mastered skills and tools and can do what they do exceptionally well, but they're not going to really deliver the full value of what a customer needs out of their marketing without some youthful, fresh perspective. And so another benefit of that entrepreneurship model is, hey, if I've got the opportunity to infuse from some fresh perspective into a team of these industry, kind of done it, mastered it professionals, that's going to be that magical mix of we've got the skills, we're developing even new skills, we've got established perspectives, we've got fresh perspectives. I'm super excited about the opportunities that I'll have through this program moving forward.
Yeah, that's a great point to end on. I'm excited too. We'll have to come back in 6 months or a year and do this again and give everybody an update. So super appreciative, Josh, you spending your time today. I know as a small business owner, every minute counts. And we're really excited to help, share the benefits of apprenticeship across the country with small businesses. We've got a lot of really great tools at our disposal. And so if you are curious about it, if you're interested, I think we had a question a minute ago about how do I find an apprenticeship myself, right? How do I start one for my business, or how do I get engaged? Is Build Within a place to start? Yes, it is. We have all sorts of opportunities to help plug you into apprenticeship programs, create apprenticeships for your small business, or have another conversation, get into the weeds. There's just so many options out there. It really, I really encourage people to take the time to have a conversation with us, just to unmask all the potential. So with that, I'll wrap it up. And this is a really, really interesting time, Josh, and I hope you'll come back and talk to us again, share your experience as 8bin grows. For all the folks who are watching, joined us today, ask questions, take a screenshot of the contact info, reach out to us. We're here to help you. And everyone, remember to come and celebrate National Youth Apprenticeship Week with us in May, and we'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks, everyone.